Hang fly, boss walk, jam, nitty gritty. You're listening to the boy from the big bad city. This is Jam High. This is Jam High.
Hi, and welcome to the first and what may be the last edition of the Cross Report, depending on how well this goes. The idea is that we summarise what happened at the last cross race, show off some of the nice photos that were taken, and highlight how great a sport cyclocross is. So without further ado, let's talk about the race that just happened. Haugh is in its fourth year and is settling in nicely as the warning shot to cyclocrossers in Scotland that their season will soon be underway. Gone is the chat about the Tour de France, and in comes Zonhoven, Coxside and Namur and Las Vegas. Haugh takes place as part of the Aberdour Festival each year. It's a lovely little town with a nice beach and makes a good setting for a bit of late summer cyclocross. The format saw a bit of a change this year with the introduction of qualifying heats. It's quite a good format for the resulting balance it provides in the two finals which follow the heats. The strong riders tended to coast through, whilst those who wanted to scrape into the A final had to dig deep to qualify. At the same time, those who had an interest in avoiding the A final found a plentiful supply of sand down at the beach to weigh down their bags with. The format went down well with everyone I spoke to. A certain Mr. McComsky even went as far as saying it was the best race he'd ever been in, and he doesn't make statements like that more than perhaps a dozen times a season, so it was hefty praise indeed from the newfound Fifer. Following the qualifiers came the B final, the talk of which was the display put in by wee Katie Carmichael of her velo. She led the field for much of the race before being hunted down by a chasing pair towards the end. We hope to see more displays like this from her in the autumn and winter months ahead. It would be remiss of me to talk about the B race without mentioning John McComsky's hole shot. McComsky is a big believer in the balls out from the start approach to bike racing, and this race may have been one of his finest moments since attacking a fourth cat crit in Stirling over a year ago. He's a popular lad, so the onlookers took some delight in seeing him shoot off and take the hole shot and also the race lead for, well, nearly a whole lap, he claims. Regretfully, I was collecting shells on the beach with my daughter when it happened, so I didn't get to see it for myself. Sorry mate, I bet it was great fun. Then came the grand finale. This was our first chance to see what sort of form some of the big hitters in Scottish cyclocross were carrying. With just a month to go until the season starts, opportunities to get in shape are quickly running out. The whole shot in the A final was taken by Gary McRae, who made an aggressive start to the race. Unfortunately, the multiple Scottish vet champion enjoyed only a short time at the front of the race before fading, if only slightly back to what would eventually become the chasing group. By the end of the first lap, the two big favourites showed themselves at the front of the race. Neon Velo's Hugo Robinson had spent Friday giving a cross clinic to cyclocross newbies, and right away he began to give the hoi polloi of Scottish cyclocross an altogether different lesson in how to race cyclocross. And of course, it wouldn't be a Scottish cross race without Davy Lines challenging for the win. Lines and Robinson simply rode away from the rest. The Leslie Bikes pair of Connor Johnson and Alan Clark gave chase and appeared to be making some progress, but eventually they were swallowed up by a chasing group which included teammate Gary McRae, Glasgow United's Stevie Jackson and SR Albonet's Graham Cross, who was keeping esteemed company in this race. A fine performance from the bearded hipster. As the only female rider who qualified for the A final, it wasn't as much a case of whether Anne Ewing of WV Breda would be the first woman, but more a case of how many male scalps she'd take on her way there. The answer was lots. She finished 18th overall in the end. Well done, Anne. Those watching the race were of the opinion that Robinson's victory was perhaps inevitable and that Lines was doing a bit too much on the front. Others were merely speculating how long Davy would last before he rolled a tub. Robinson attacked Starley Primal's Davy Lines at the end of the penultimate lap, and despite a handsome effort in trying to respond, the Neon Velo rider clearly showed himself to be the stronger of the two. He made a hatful of seconds on Lines, and the fireman for Falkirk was unable to scrape them back. By the time Robinson crossed the finish line, he was the only rider in the photo. That's all for this edition of the Cross Report. If you like this format, then let me know and I'll try to do some more. If you don't like it, then let me know and I'll save myself the bother. Before I go, let me tell you about the next race in the Scottish cyclocross calendar. Organised by none other than cyclocross legend John McComsky, the next race is on the 6th of September at Beveridge Park in Kirkcaldy. If you speak to him long enough, say 30 seconds or so, John will inevitably tell you that he used to race the motorbikes there. I've been along to the circuit and I for one am looking forward to it. It's a great venue to hold a cyclocross race and I can see the event establishing itself just as much as McComsky's last brainchild, Dig In at the Dock. Entry has been open for one day and already 50 entries have gone, so don't hang about if you want to enter.
Go get them.